subject. So it's free. Go check it out. Great conference that we had. We did it with Ultradent, and you can check that out at ddmclive.com. All right, so I want to talk about today's patient. And you already know this, but today's patient is most effectively reached through social media. They build and maintain relationships through social media, and they make decisions based on social proof, on things that they see on social media, or things that their friends are doing on social media, or they ask for recommendations on social media. This is how today's patient is making their decisions. I guess this is more of today's patient if we consider what's happening right now with the COVID pandemic. But they're even more than ever, they're relying on social media for information and digital communication. And so we really preach that right now is the best time to be focusing on your social media efforts and your digital marketing efforts, because of what has happened, it's vital. And if in the future it continues to happen or something like this happens again, it's so important that we have everything ready and in place for a digital marketing strategy. You know, this is the reality of it today. If patients don't find you online, or they don't find you on social media channels, that you won't find them in your dental chair. And so again, it's important you have this digital communication. When we talk to practices, most of the time we're talking to three different types of personnel in a practice. You have first, which is maybe an office manager, and their goal is that they want a marketing solution that requires minimal time and effort. As an office manager, you already have so much on your plate. You're required to maybe do some of the marketing, but you just don't have the time to dive into it. You don't have the time to always be thinking about what to post. So you're looking for something with minimal time and effort. And then you have maybe the hygienist or the assistant. And what do they want from a practice? They want a practice that they can work for that has a great team culture. They want to be proud of where they work. Obviously, they're proud of their profession and how they help people in the dental professional, but they also want a place where they feel comfortable, they can be proud of, and has a good culture. And then you have the dentist. And their goal really is to have new patients and to create a great reputation in their community. So you have these three different goals of different personnel. Social media can really accomplish all three of these goals. You can reach new patients through social media. You can strengthen relationships with your current patients through social media, and you can improve your reputation and practice culture through social media. So I'm going to talk about how you can do all three of these things. And it's through those 3 R's that I mentioned at the beginning: reach, relationships, and reputation. Everything that you post and everything that you do on social media should fall underneath these 3 R's. So I'm going to refer to these quite a bit in my presentation today. So first, let's talk about reach and what reach means and the importance of reach through social media. How can you reach more people? So the first way is you need to have a healthy content mix in what you post. So we talk about 3 different types of content for dental practices. You have team content, you have patient content, and then you have informational dental content. We tell practices that your focus should be 50% of what your team is doing, to posting things that your team is doing. So photos of your team, photos of what's happening in your office and your culture. 20% of your posts should be your patients. What your patients are saying about you, photos of your patients, or maybe even photos that your patients post on their accounts, you sharing those photos to your account. And then 30% of your posts should just be informational dental content to talk about your profession. And sometimes these are graphics that you find, sometimes this is just sharing information about what's happening in your industry, but about 30% of that should be informational content. So the 50% of your post as your team content, what kind of posts are those? So here's an example of the doctor who's having a little bit of fun, and it's okay to have fun on social media. People like this type of content. He posted this photo of him holding a sign that says 100 likes and I'll dance. And he reached the 100 likes, and you can, well, he got 127 reactions to it. 18 comments in this comment that says, don't throw out your hip, I need my teeth cleaned. So it was 2 posts. He posted this first one, he reached the goal, and then he posted another one of him dancing that got some engagement. Here's another post of team members and a charitable campaign that they were involved with and giving back to their community. This one was for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, where they posted their support for this, and you can see the amount of engagement that they got on this type of post. It might be something that you do that relates to a week or a holiday. So this was during Shark Week. We provided this client with these fun little masks, these shark mouths to put over their masks, and then they posted this photo saying, we've got fantastic patients. All right, 20% of your posts, like I mentioned, should be of your patients. So here's a fun post of around Christmas time where this dentist posted this with one of the patients. It doesn't matter what age, you can post these photos. Most of the time, any age has social media accounts. More and more seniors are on social media now, so you can post with whoever and take those pictures showing your relationship between you and your patients. And then these 30% of the posts that I mentioned is it's informational content. This can be around holidays, this can be around trending topics that are happening right now, and then it can just be informational graphics. You know, graphics, we hear about this a lot, but you know, sometimes graphics aren't the most effective content. We think pictures with photos of your team a lot of times get more engagement, but graphics still do have their place in your social media strategy. It just helps you be more consistent, and it is still a good content for you to post. So it's okay to post graphics once in a while, but try to make those graphics engaging and interesting. So here's an example of an unhealthy mix and a healthy mix of content. So unhealthy mix, we see this all the time, of maybe just graphic after graphic of an illustration of a tooth, holding a toothbrush or whatever it might be. This is not a healthy mix of content if it looks like that consistently over and over again. A healthy mix will have a good representation of those 3 categories, your team content, patient content, and informational content. You can see on the right which is more interesting, right? The one on the right with different types of content in it. The second tip to reach more people is to be engaging in your posts. And I like to explain what this means and why engagement is so important in social media. So I show this example of a non-engaging post, maybe an illustration that's kind of boring, doesn't really have much meaning to it. What happens on Facebook, just so you understand the algorithm of Facebook and Instagram, is if you post something like this, it will only be shared to about 1% of your Facebook followers. I think it's actually less than 1%. So hardly any of the followers you've built on your Facebook page will even see your post. And if nobody comments, likes, or shares that post, it will stop right there. No one else will see it. And as you continue to post these kind of boring posts, it goes to that one little tiny percent of your followers, and then it stops there. But if you post things that are engaging and you have a healthy content mix, what will happen is that more of your followers will start seeing those posts, and they'll start liking, commenting, and sharing that content. And then that tells Facebook that your content is actually relevant, that people actually care about your content. So Facebook says, okay, we're going to show more people that post because it's relevant content. And so it'll show a little bit more of your followers that post. And as more people share, this is when it starts spreading out into your community. So you can see here, as it goes into the community of those people's friends and family, they'll start liking, commenting, and sharing, and then it just grows exponentially from there. If you want to ensure that people see your posts on Facebook, you can do what's called boosting a post. On every single post that you make, there's an option to put a little bit of money into it. And you can target a geographic area. So we encourage you to target maybe within 30 to 50 miles of your practice. And then people within that area will start seeing your post. And then if it's relevant content and they like, comment, and share, it can spread quicker in that way. So we do encourage you to put a little bit of money into your post, whether it's $3 to $5 into a post that you make. And then if people start liking it and you see that it's doing well, maybe put a little bit more money into it. But in order for it to get that initial boost, you need to put a little bit of money into it. So we definitely encourage you to do that. So the Facebook algorithm rankings, ranking signals are these. Here are a few things to think about. So they rank your content based on who a user typically interacts with, the type of media is in the post, and the popularity of the post. So if people have interacted with your page in the past, they'll show that content to those people more. So any way that you can get somebody to go and interact with your page, whether it's to like a photo or click on a photo or anything, or go follow your page, that's an interaction with your page, and Facebook will show, and Instagram will show those people your content more. It cares about the type of content you post on your page. And I'll talk about this in a minute, but video content is really strong. If you can post video content or photos on your page, it ranks better than maybe a link or that you share on your page. And then the popularity of the post. As more people comment and like and share, it says that it's popular, so it shows more people. So if you can get people to like or comment, we see posts that are just like, wishing somebody a happy birthday on the team. As people comment with happy birthday or even congratulations, it ranks the post higher because people are commenting on it. So a few tips around this. If you want your content to rank higher, start genuine conversations, post original videos, and highlight important moments, things happening in your practice that people might maybe comment with congratulations or happy birthday, whatever it might be. Here's some other ideas of how to get more engagement. Post at the right times. This was a study that was done on Instagram about global engagement and the times that accounts got the most engagement. And take this for what it's worth. I don't know if this will work for your practice necessarily, but they found that on Wednesday from about 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock had the most engagement, and on Friday from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 12 o'clock. They looked at a bunch of business accounts on Instagram, and they found that those were the two best times to post. It might be different for you, but it might be something to try. They also looked at the healthcare industry, and they found that on Tuesday from about 8 to 1 on Tuesday was the best time to post. So again, take that for what it's worth, but it might help. Something that you can do on your Instagram page, if you have a business account, is you can go into the back end of the analytics, and you can actually see what times your followers are online. So you can see this little section at the bottom. You can see that each day and what times they're online the most. So when people are online would be the best time for you to post. So think about that as you consider your schedule. They've also found that posts with photos with faces in them get more engagement. So this was a study done on Instagram. 1.1 million Instagram posts were analyzed, and pictures with human faces are 38% more likely to receive likes than photos with no faces, and 32% more likely to receive comments than photos with no faces. So faces, people on your team, anything that you can do that has a real face on it, even if it is a stock image with a face on it is better. So here's some examples of an Instagram account that does really well with posting team members. That's why our social signs that we provide practices work so well, is because it's a person holding a message rather than just a graphic with a message. People connect more with people. Post carousel photos. So if you're familiar with this is on Instagram as well. You can post multiple photos in one post on Instagram. And they found that carousel, it's called carousel when they swipe through the photos, they found that it has 2.2% more interaction than images. And whenever you can get someone to interact with a post, so even if they just touch the screen and swipe, that's counted as interaction. So like I mentioned, every time you can get someone to interact with your post, those people will see your post more in the future. So these carousel type of posts are really effective. This just shows kind of what that is. And then video. I mentioned that I talk about video. This is the most effective right now type of content you can post on social media. They found that it gets 21.2% more interaction than just images, and it's 18.6% more interaction than those carousel photos. So even if it's not super polished video, if you can use video in your messages, we would highly encourage that. Use video and use stories. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about stories on Instagram as well. Why is video so important? Because it requires people to spend more time on the post. And if there's anything that Instagram and Facebook want you to do more of, is spend more time on their platforms. So anything that you can do to create something that requires someone to spend a little bit more time to watch a video, Instagram is gonna like that, or Facebook's gonna like that type of content more. Why? Because they can advertise to more people through that as they spend more time on their channel. Post stories. If you haven't played around with Instagram stories, I would highly encourage you to do that. It's great content. It's fleeting content, meaning that it's only up for 24 hours, and then it disappears. But it's just, it's really fun to create stories. You can put stickers and fun sayings on stories. And they found that people trust stories a lot more just because it's more real content. It's an idea that you had, you filmed something and you posted it. So I would encourage you to try to do stories on Instagram. All right, another way to reach more people is to be consistent. We encourage our practices to post at least 3 times a week, trying to mix up this type of content. 3 times a week is a good number for you to shoot for as you're coming up with your schedule. At My Social Practice, we provide our clients with a calendar that looks kind of like this. And we have all the holidays on the calendar and all the things that you should be thinking about during the week. And then we add additional ideas onto the calendar. So we would encourage you to do that ahead of time. Some practices, they'll shoot all of their content on Monday for the week or for a couple weeks, and then they'll just schedule it out throughout the week. So anything that you can do to make your life a little bit easier on your schedule is great. All right, so that's reach. Let's talk about the second R, which is relationships, and how social media can build and strengthen your relationships. So the first tip is to think about connection before conversion. There's a famous neuroscientist, Antonio Damasio. He said, "We are not thinking machines that feel, rather we are feeling machines that think." So there's 2 different types of ways to market to your patients. There's sympathy-based marketing, or there's empathy-based marketing. Sympathy-based marketing focuses on connecting with people based on how they think, and empathy-based marketing connects with people based on how they feel. So let's talk about this for a minute. So if you were to focus on what your patients might be thinking right now, what type of messages would you send out? What type of marketing messages would you send out? So this is something that they might be thinking right now. I really need to see a dentist after quarantine. So as people are home, not going out much, they might be eating a lot of junk food, and they've been thinking about their teeth, and they're thinking, I really probably should go see the dentist. So with that in mind, what type of messages would you send to this type of person? A lot of times dentists, they just try to throw out any type of marketing message and see what sticks. So this is stuff that we see all the time. Discounts, get your smile back, only $59 for adult complete checkup, affordable dental coverage, summer dental savings. So this is what we do all the time. We just think discounts, and let's throw that at them and see if they'll bite. Now I want you to think about what your patients might be feeling right now. I want you to take a different approach. So a lot of patients are feeling financial stress because of what's happening in the economy right now. And then there's a safety anxiety that a lot of people have because of everything happening and what they hear on the news, and people don't want to go out of their homes, and especially probably going to a dentist is something that they might fear as someone's working in their mouth. They want to know if they're going to be safe and if they're going to be healthy. So if you're going to market around that, around their feelings, this is, again, empathy-based marketing. And there's so many great ways to market with that in mind. So empathy-based marketing is walking in your patient's shoes to understand their motivations. You don't want to just think like the patient, you want to be the patient and understand how they really feel. So this is my little family. This is my wife and my daughter. And we recently found out that we're having twins. So my daughter is under 2 years old. And when we have twins, we're gonna have 3 kids under the age of 2, which is crazy, something definitely not expected. So you can imagine some of the anxiety that I have and some of the concerns that I have and what I've been thinking about right now as you think about how maybe I'm feeling. So this is going to be us pretty soon. Our second row of our car is going to need to fit 3 small 3 car seats, rear-facing car seats, and which is going to be nuts. But we've been looking for a car that could do this. It could fit 3 car seats in the second row. So I'm going to show you a couple different ads for a car that we've been looking at. We've been looking at the Volkswagen Atlas. And I want you to think about which one is based more around feelings and which one is based more around my thinking. So the first one is this one. Let me see if I can show here.
You get a lifetime warranty. Lifetime. No.
Okay. All right. So that was the first one. And then this is the second one. All right, so a lot of you probably saw ads like this, especially as the quarantine first started. These more kind of emotional ads that showed more empathy. And the first one talked about discounts, which I was looking for discounts, but the second one said it in a much more appealing way to me because it appealed to my emotions. And we ended up taking advantage of that deal based on some of these messages that we saw online, and ended up getting one of the cars, or their Atlas car. And so I want you to think about that as you're developing your messages. How can you appeal to people and how they feel right now? It's funny, I'm actually looking at the comments right now, and Elise says, I've been in these 3 under 2 due to twin shoes. So it sounds like she has 3 under 2 as well. Her twins are 15 years old. Yeah, so Elise knows how I feel right now, and she can relate. So, all right. So content builds relationships. Relationships are built on trust, and trust drives revenue. So think about that. Your content that you post can build relationships, and I've seen that happen over and over with dental practices. And trust is so important for a dental practice. So how can you build that trust? All right, so that's the second one, relationships. Third, reputation. Let's talk about how social media can build and strengthen your reputation. So my first tip is to have a culture of authenticity and transparency through your posts. There was a book that was written in the early days of the internet called the Clue Train Manifesto. And in that book, it says authenticity, honesty, and personal voice underline much of what's successful on the web. And this was in the early days of the web, and it stayed the same. The most effective messages on the web are authentic, honest, and with a personal voice. And I want to share with you this. This is a video I share a lot. They released this right when the governor. This practice released this right when the governor in their state told them that they could open up their practice. And so I want to share this first video from Lake Oconee. Lake Oconee Dentistry. Let's see here. All right, so I share that because I just love how authentic he is and how honest he is with his patients. Again, the governor said he could open his practice, but he said, we're not quite ready to open our practice. We don't have all the safety equipment. We're just not trained quite yet, and we're not ready to open. But he was clear with his patients and his followers that once they were ready to open, or when they did open, they would have everything in place and they would make sure that their patients are safe, and that was their top priority. So if he were to go out and just say, we're open, let's do this, we're ready, and he wasn't, and their team really wasn't ready, it could come back to bite him, especially in social media. People have tried to go around being authentic or around being honest on social media, and it seems to always come back to bite them, whether it's through negative reviews or whatever it might be. They later made a video about all of their new safety protocols that they have in their office. And you can go, I'm not going to show this right now, but you can go to their page and you can see their video that just, it takes people on a virtual walkthrough through their office and talks about all the new protocols that they've put in place. And it gives you that feeling of confidence and trust. They also post their reviews on their Facebook page, and reviews specifically about COVID-19 and the things that people have said that are really positive about the way they were treated during this time. And you can see those on their page as well. And again, this builds a lot of trust through this transparency. All right, second, another idea to build your reputation through social media is to find ways to serve your community and others. I love this post that during quarantine, we had a lot of dentists go and donate materials to local hospitals. And this was a post that was made by this dental practice, and you can see the amount of engagement that they got on it, comments and shares. But this comment really struck me. Holly says, wow, really cool. He's my dentist and just got a lifetime of loyalty. People love doing business and being associated with people that are doing good in the community and people that are serving other people. And so when you can share these positive messages of things that you're doing, people really will feel a connection with you. Sometimes I get practices to say, well, we don't want to brag about what we're doing. When we post things, it feels like we're bragging about the good things that we're doing. I see it differently. I see it as that you're encouraging others to do good and to help. When I see posts like this, it makes me want to go out and do something good in my community. So if you say things in a tactful way, that's how people will feel. This is another great post by Heinz Little Smiles. They're a longtime client of ours, and where they donated PPE. And this comment is actually from a team member of Heinz Little Smiles. And she says, being a part of Dr. Heinz' team not only makes me appreciate her more and more each day, only makes me appreciate her more and more each day, not for what she has done for me or my coworkers, but how she looks out for our community always. Such a giving staff behind her as well. So it makes your team members feel proud of being a part of your practice, and it really builds that culture of who you are. We had so many practices do great things in their community during quarantine, and whether it's a team member that's doing something, making masks for people or whatever it might be, supporting local businesses, posts like this are great for your social media. Another tip around reputation: enable patients to build your reputation for you. There's only so much that you can say about how great of a practice you are. And if you say, trust me, I'm the best, I'll take care of you, people will believe it to a certain level. Scott Cook, the co-founder of Intuit, said, a brand is no longer what we tell the customer it is, it's what customers tell each other it is. And this rings true with social media. People care about what other people are saying about you, not necessarily what you're saying about you. They found that 67% of people are more likely to purchase a product or service after a friend or family member shared it via social media. And 74% of consumers allow social media proof to influence their purchasing decisions. I also saw an article that was written in Ad News. It was about influencer marketing. And if you don't know what influencer marketing is, it's different people on social media, particularly Instagram, have built followings around themselves, and they become influential on social media. So people trust what they have to say, whether it's on fashion or food or whatever it is. They've built a following of trust. They found that 36% of influencers are seeing a significant increase in impressions and engagement within their Instagram audiences during this pandemic. And 70% of influencers' audiences are turning to them for guidance through this crisis. So whether we like it or not, people are turning to people that they trust online for guidance. So I shared this photo. We've all seen these wings on different murals around the country. And what do people do when they see these wings? They go and they walk up to them, they take a photo, and then they post that photo to social media, right? Not because someone told them to do it. It's something that they wanted to do. It's fun, it's interesting, and they feel like it fits their personal brand. So I call this kind of a wow factor. This is a share-worthy or an Insta-worthy thing that people share on their accounts. So I want you to think about what your wow factor is. What's your share-worthy or Insta-worthy factor in your office? It doesn't have to be these examples. It might deal with a service that you provide or just something that's extraordinary. So this is a practice out in Pennsylvania, Susan McMahon. And she, in all of her treatment rooms, she puts these beautiful paintings in her rooms. And when people take a photo, they take a photo in front of the painting. So they'll maybe do their after photo, and they'll always want to stand in front of the painting. So why do people like to stand in front of the painting rather than have a boring dental office in the background? It's because it makes their photo more interesting and it makes it more share-worthy, and people like photos that are a little more interesting to post to their page. So here's another one in her waiting room, and people love to take pictures. And she makes sure that there's no furniture or anything in front of the painting so that people can stand in front of them and take photos. Maybe it's a massage chair that's in your office, or something interesting like a massage chair, where this girl, she sat in the massage chair and she said, Jacob's dentist has a nicer massage chair than mine. This one squeezes the temples and gets the neck good. The staff here are all very nice too. They see kids and adults. So the first thing that she talks about is not the dentist. She talks about the massage chair, and then she mentions the dentist and who they are. And then you can see the comments on here of people talking about the dentist and asking questions about the dentist. So again, this is a wow factor in their office. At My Social Practice, we provide photo booths to put inside of offices, and these are iPad photo booths. And you can just put them in your waiting room area or in your treatment rooms or whatever it might be. And people take photos, maybe photos with team members, and then they can put stickers on it, or they can hold some of our fun signs. And then it shares that photo. It actually sends that photo to the patient through text message, and then they can share it on their accounts. So this might be a fun idea that you might want to try. Of course, whenever you take any photos of patients or you want to share any photos of patients, as you know, you need HIPAA compliance and HIPAA authorization. So our photo booth and an app that we have actually takes photos with the patients, and then it sends the photo to the patient, and then the patient can digitally sign their authorization on their own phones, so they don't have to touch your device. And this is actually a good thing for right now for COVID-19, where they don't have to touch any device and they can give you authorization without a paper or pen as well. And so this is kind of how it looks with our product. At My Social Practice, we really want to help you through this time. We want to help you with your social media marketing efforts, as well as any of your digital marketing efforts. We assign all of our practices, social media consultant or a manager to work directly with them. And we can be involved as much or as little as you want. We can even respond to comments and messages for you. If you just don't want to think about it, we can handle most of your social media for you, or we can just send you ideas, whatever you would prefer. We send you a calendar, as I mentioned, of things you can post, different ideas of things you can post. We actually even send you a box of ideas like this for 2 months worth. Every 2 months, we'll send you a box of 2 months worth of ideas of props and signs and instructions and everything you need to know, or everything you need just to create interesting, engaging posts for your social media accounts, and specifically for dental practices. We also do other things as far as digital marketing is concerned. We'll help with websites or SEO. We don't just do social media. We can help you with your full plan. So please contact us. We're running a lot of good bundles right now as well during this pandemic time to help you out. So please let us know how we can help you with any of your digital marketing needs. One last thing before I end for questions and answers. We have a 5-phase worksheet, social media worksheet that you can download that takes you through what you should be focusing on right now and into the future after this pandemic is over. But it's specifically around the pandemic of what you should be doing on social media. So if you go to our website, just go to mysocialpractice.com, or there's a bar at the top where you can download this, or if you go to info.mysocialpractice.com/worksheet, you can download this for free. This is something that we're providing to the dental industry right now. And that's all I have, Sharky.
Great, thanks, Blake, for that. Learned a couple of great new tips again. Very useful. So at this moment, we'll take some question and answers. So if you are in the webinar, just you can post it in the chat section. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, there's a comment section there. Just enter your questions there. So anything you want to ask, Blake has to tell us the truth. So anything you need to know. Okay. So we have one question here. What do you see practices posting during COVID?
During COVID? So the worksheet that I talk about that for those 5 phases really kind of gives you an idea of what you should be posting at different phases. So right at the beginning of COVID, when everybody was in quarantine, we really told practices to focus on just building relationships, maintaining and building relationships with their current patients, and communication with what's going on in their practice. If they're open, if they're if they're only open for emergencies, whatever it might be, just communicating those things like that, and building and maintaining relationships. Right now, depending on what phase you're on and where you live or where you practice, you should be focusing on safety of your patients. and the protocols that you're doing in your practice right now to keep your patients and team members safe. So that's one thing that you might want to consider doing. And then being empathetic towards your patients. That's another thing that you should be focusing on, is how can you show empathy through discounts or whatever it might be to your patients right now.
And then, so what do you think about the content, using it for the website?
To what they should be posting on their website?
Do they use the same content, or is it different content on website?
Yeah, I think on your website, if you can have like a pop-up on your website that explains what's happening in your office during COVID and your safety, your new protocols, or a blog post on your website, I think that's great information as well. Social media is thought of a little bit more of the more up-to-date things that are happening in the practice. So that's why updates and things like that are really important to post to social media, but it would help on your website as well.
Okay. And I was having a chat, I got some messages, private messages during the presentation. They were asking about new ideas. So they're looking for new ideas. Like what do you recommend for an office to get new ideas or stay updated on the trends?
Yeah, so I guess as a plug for my social practice, subscribe to our blog. We're always pushing out free ideas and different campaign ideas and things you can be doing on social media that will, things that are trending or whatever it might be. Go to mysocialpractice.com. If you click on blog, the blog tab, you can subscribe to our emails and our blog to get free ideas. We also have a free stuff page, and there's a lot of downloads, ebook downloads, and different things we have tons of ideas. And of course, I mean, that is a question we get all the time, is people need ideas for social media. And that's really where our product comes in, is we'll send you so many ideas. We have so many ideas in our platform and things that we send to you. So you never have to think of your own ideas, because that takes a lot of time to scour the internet of things to post.
Yep. So you never have to think again. Thanks to Blake and My Social Practice.
That's right.
Okay. So make sure you join the blog. I post the blog in the description area. So we will also post it on Facebook description as well to get content. So let's see here. And then what's your prediction for the future in social media?
Yeah, so social media is here to stay. It's just the platforms are going to change in the future, right? And one thing that I've been reading a lot on is just the way stories work on Instagram and Facebook. This idea of stories that last for 24 hours then disappear. They're finding that more and more people are watching stories before they even go to the feed posts on Instagram and Facebook. They're just clicking on the stories at the top. And it's kind of been predicted that stories will be really the future of social media, that kind of all platforms will kind of turn to this stories type of platform, just for the creation ability, the content creation ability of it, and the honest transparency behind it. So I kind of see that as something that you should understand how it works and be experimenting a little bit with creating stories.
Okay. And we have a comment here. What are your views on Instagram Lives versus stories? Are they as effective?
Yeah, Instagram Lives are great, or Facebook Lives are great. Facebook and Instagram really favor live video. I know on Instagram, when you go live on Instagram, it will notify your followers that you're live in that moment, and then you can answer questions live, which is a great part of live, just like we're answering your question right now. The same thing is, there's that personal touch of someone asking a question and then being able to answer the question right in the moment. So yeah, if you feel comfortable doing live videos, obviously that's another step in Instagram content, but you can't re-record, but that's okay. If you make mistakes, people are more accepting of that, and it does feel more real in the moment if you stumble over words or whatever it is. they build that trust. So yeah, definitely. That's a great question. I would definitely try Instagram Lives or Facebook Lives.
And there are tools. We're using a tool right now that we use to stream. We're stream to Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
And you can actually have recordings to go live. Like you can pre-record something and then set it up and then go live if you don't feel comfortable going live directly.
Yeah, and one thing too, Miriam, if you can go to something a lot of people don't know about is something called Facebook Creators Studio. You can just search it on Google, Facebook Creators Studio, and it allows you to post to your Instagram page from your desktop, and I think even go live from your desktop. So you don't even have to do it on your phone to go live, which it's a great platform. I like the vertical format of a phone to go live because it fills the whole screen. But if you wanted to do it from your computer, you can do it on Facebook Creator Studio.
Great. Let's see, next question. Yeah. Should we pay for advertising on the social media networks?
Yes, definitely. Facebook especially has really gone to a pay-to-play model where you need to pay for your content to be seen. Like I mentioned, I think it's less than 1% of your followers will even see your content organically at first, unless you get some likes, comments, and shares. So boosting content is really recommended, especially on Facebook. Instagram has a higher engagement level. More people organically will see your posts on Instagram than Facebook. So if you want more organic reach without having to pay, I would say start focusing on Instagram. I don't know how long that's going to last until they start, doing what Facebook's doing with really cracking down on your content. But as far as organic reach, Facebook or Instagram is a better place to be right now. But Facebook, you really need to pay to have your content seen.
So do you recommend paying for Instagram as well, or just Facebook?
Yeah, with Instagram, you can it's run through the Facebook platform. That's how you pay for it on Instagram, it's run through Facebook Ads Manager for ads on Instagram. And so, yeah, I would try that as well for Instagram to pay for it. I think it guarantees that your content will be seen. So that's what's good about it.
Okay. And is there any way to track the return on investment with social media?
Yeah, I mean, both Facebook and Instagram have analytics in the back end. They have, whenever you pay for anything, it will show you detailed analytics of how many people are clicking on it, how many people are engaging with it. But unless you have a strategy, whether it's linking to a landing page where you can track how many people fill out a form on a landing page with a pixel on it saying that person came from Facebook or that person came from Instagram, and then having a system in your office to ask people where they came from, you won't be able to find your true ROI unless you have some of those systems in place and you start looking at the analytics and asking people new patients that question of where they came from. So we definitely, it's great to know the ROI of your marketing efforts, but it just takes a little bit of work and a little bit of effort to do so.
And then, so if that seems a bit difficult, how should a practice go about determining, should they invest more time in Facebook or Instagram? Should they try this technique? Like, what metrics would they be able to look at? Because they can't compare, or can they compare their metric to other dental offices?
Yeah, the two things that I always talk about that you should look at with your ROI is first, you can look at how many views your content gets, right? It has a number underneath every one of your posts that says how many people actually saw your post. So, for example, if you were to do a billboard, you can estimate about how many views that billboard will get as people drive by. So that's the same type of analytics that you can get on Facebook or Instagram. It'll tell you how many people viewed your content and how many people engaged with that content. So that's one number to look at, is the views. And then as well as your engagement of how many people are commenting, liking, and share. Some of those analytics are hard to like quantify how much your ROI is from views and engagement, but because it takes people sometimes a lot of views and a lot of engagement before they convert. But then track that in comparison with, as you're asking new patients when they come in, where they heard about you. Try to track, if you got this many views this month and you had 2 new patients come in, then you can kind of think about the lifetime value of your patient and the money you put into Facebook, and then you can determine if that was worth it for you.
So one metric that I'm aware of when I look at websites analytics is that for about every 20 to 30 new visitors that you get, we find that a dental office gets 1 phone call. So if you can translate the number of clicks you get from social media into your site, maybe that's one metric you can look at.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a easy metric, not easy metric, but that's kind of simple. Not 100% accurate, but simple. Just kind of look at the number of visitors that you get, and then the number of phone calls you get, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll take one more question. Yeah, we're running out of time. The question is, how much time should a practice spend on creating social media content?
It varies for everybody. I think that's kind of a hard number. We encourage to post 3 times a week. And so depending on how much time you have, I would say if you could spend, 3 to maybe 2 to 3 hours a week on those type of posts, we'd encourage you to have someone that's in charge in your practice of your posts. And then that strategy that I said before is if you can just do them all in 1 week or in 1 team huddle or 1 day with 1 team huddle and say, hey, we're going to take all of our photos in this huddle and then schedule it throughout the week. That will make it a lot easier as well. So you could get that done in an hour, get all of your posts done, 3 posts done for the week, 3 different types of photos, maybe holding 3 different signs or showing different equipment in your office or whatever it might be, and get it all done in the week. So it all depends, but I think, if you could spend 2 to 3 hours a week, I think that would be great.
So they will send you the content. So that's what we recommend for them. Sending the content.
Yeah. For my social practice, we'll assign you a social media manager to manage your content for you and manage responses. And you can just send us the content and we'll post it for you. So if you just take the photos, which would not take you very long, if you took our ideas and took 3 photos a week in a half hour or 15 minutes, take 3 photos, maybe even less, and send those to us, we'll do the rest for you. So that would be the most minimal amount of time that you would have to spend.
From my experience, posting is the most tedious part.
Yeah, it is.
I can create the video, but then to find out the hashtags and then the description and then sharing it gets pretty tedious, right?
Yeah, it is. It takes a lot of work for sure.
Great. So I want to thank you, Blake, for today. And before we leave, I just want to mention about the upcoming webinars. We have Sandy for next Tuesday. She's the president of Dental Office Consulting Services, and she will be covering how to prepare your office for Ministry of Labor and Public Health inspection. Everything you need to know. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but it's best to be prepared. As well as Dr. Hill Hajuri, she's the managing partner of Protect Air. Very important and timely discussion now is about the air and aerosol in your practice, and she will be talking about the untold secrets to cleaning up the air. Everything you need to know to stay ahead and keep your office safe, keep your staff safe, and keep your patients safe. So that's it. I want to thank Blake for taking the time to speak to us and gave us a lot of good tips. So you can go to mysocialpractice.com to sign up for the services or check out the blog. Make sure you subscribe to the blog. And I like subscribing to the Instagram or get a lot of new ideas from there. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks, Sharky. Thanks, everyone.
All right, see you.
Okay, bye.